Hey guys, my name is Johnny5, coming at you live with episode 52 here at the Geekdom Event Center in the heart of the Tech District. Now today we're joined by a familiar face. You might have seen him throughout Geekdom in the staff office, Dax Moreno. But today we're here to talk about Dax's new adventures and some of the old stuff he's gone through and his old experiences that maybe some of us can learn from. Dax,
thanks for having me on.
Yes,
I appreciate it. I've always been behind the camera with this kind of thing, so it's a little change of pace here. Absolutely. But I'm excited to be on.
Yes. Now, before we talk about or dive into Dax's new adventures with the new company, Read It For Me, as COO, am I mistaken? COO, is that correct?
That's correct.
Awesome. We're going to talk a little bit more about your background. Now, with that being said, could you kind of dive into your story, your journey, how you landed, a job with Geekdom, and now Read It For Me?
Yeah, so this is going to be an obligatory plug for the Cilantro Diaries, Lorenzo Gomez's book. So if you want to know a little bit more, you can actually read the book because Lorenzo and I's story is really heavily intertwined. We went to high school together. Right out of high school, I got a job over at Gateway Computers, where I actually worked for David Garcia, who's the new CEO of Geekdom. And kind of through that time, I discovered a love for sales, customer service, working with tech, and brought Lorenzo on board over there with me after much deliberation. There's a great story about how I had to convince him to leave HEB to come work in tech. And then from there, we just kind of, as one of us found a new spot, we helped each other get to the next role or into the next opportunity. So after Gateway, I worked at a couple of different technical kind of sales places and ultimately wound up with a few other folks over from Gateway that had made their way to Rackspace, Lorenzo being one of them. So I joined Rackspace, was there for 8 amazing years, saw a ton of growth. I had a lot of really great mentors and friendships that I made that helped me grow my career from a, kind of your run-of-the-mill SMB salesperson into management and ultimately into an entrepreneurship role at Rackspace, where I was building out their channel sales organization and finding new markets and vertical segments with agencies and digital media specialists. After Rackspace, I went and joined Pier 1 Hosting, which is now Cogeco. Did some really cool stuff. There are some folks here in the Geekdom ecosystem that are there. Robert Miggins, Mike Bojantan, Ed Vigil, lots of different folks that have kind of gone out from there and now are in kind of the startup world. But we did some really cool work there. We're acquired by a Canadian telco company. Learned a lot from that experience. And then took that into another tech company called Max CDN, worked with them leading their sales and marketing department. They were acquired out of California, and then at that point is when I decided I needed to come back home and keep helping put my brick into what Graham and Lorenzo and so many other people were building down here, which led me ultimately to work for Geekdom. And through Geekdom, I met Steve and Read It For Me, so now I'm here. So it's all kind of connected.
Awesome, man. Now, it sounds like you've definitely had your fair share of dealing with startups, and it sounds like you kind of breathe that and thrive off of that, especially coming from Rackspace to join the startup community. And it all seems like some people think of it as a huge risk, but I know that's a risk you're willing to take, so that's awesome. And that leap is huge, and it takes a certain kind of person to do that, so kudos to you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it really is. It's something that I talk to a lot of different people about when they're making or even they're thinking about, shifting careers and saying, what does it take to actually become an entrepreneur or maybe to go work in a smaller company, in a smaller business. And there's definite things that you can learn and you can, just enjoy by doing that. But it's something you want to be 100% sure about when you get into it. So I always encourage people to talk to other folks in the ecosystem. It's not for everybody, but I think it's for more than what they think, right? There's a lot of folks who are just worried about, well, there's security here with this large company, but there's so much opportunity in working with smaller businesses and being a part of actually helping grow and build something. It's a special feeling to know that you're having that kind of an impact.
Yeah, especially with me coming from Apple to Geekdom, who's technically a startup. You get to get a lot of experience and you see a lot of things no one else sees, and what it takes and the drive and the determination to take something from the very beginning stages and expand it. So that's great. Now, on that note of being in the ecosystem and the community, we all know you're heavily involved with Geekdom. We always see you now on the 7th floor, even though you're away as staff. You're still there making an involvement. What would you say is like the biggest lesson you've learned, or a good lesson you've learned, a quality lesson from being behind the scenes working for Geekdom?
You know, I really think it boils down to getting involved. Action matters. You know, there was a lot of things that I was grateful enough to observe while I was at Geekdom as both a member and a mentor. I rented an office prior to joining the Geekdom staff, and then being on the Geekdom staff, I got to see aspects of the community in a much different light, right? Helping serve them, helping create programs and some strategies to help others be more successful. And I think the biggest thing that I encountered as the thing that I would encourage most people to do is just get involved, actually create action. We have enough people talking about things. We need more people doing the things. You know, I'm a really big fan of, you know, if you have a problem, come with a solution. Don't just point at the problem and say, wow, somebody better fix that. Well, guess what? If you're pointing at it, you should turn the finger around and say, like, I better find a way to fix that or at least help.
Well, I've definitely taken that. You've given me that advice in the past, and I've definitely taken that. So that's awesome, man. That's a great lesson. I've used that for many things going forward. It's like, oh yeah, Dax taught me that. So great lesson there. What would you say are some really like exciting programs we have, or some of your favorite ones that Geekdom has, and maybe even some hidden gems that some of the members or even just people in general don't really know that Geekdom has that they could take advantage of?
Yeah, so, you know, the one that's probably nearest and dearest to my heart is the mentorship program. You know, I was lucky enough to work with, you know, Adrian in helping develop that. Ashley is going to take that into a completely new level, I think, this year. You know, the mentorship program is something that has so much weight and carries so much value, yet is often overlooked by community members. We have spent a lot of time last year during my time on Geekdom staff helping develop the caliber of mentors that we're bringing into the community space, and the type of people who want to come back in here and help is fantastic. And I would really encourage everybody out there listening to this, if you haven't been in the mentor program, go and sign up, learn about the process, because there are people there that have gone through the experiences that you're going through for the first time. They have a network, they have a desire to help. Go get the help. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why this community and the ecosystem was built, was for people to be able to learn from each other and to pass along knowledge, expertise, and share passions. So for me, it's the mentorship program, you know, 1,000%. From a hidden gem perspective, while it's just recently launched, I am really, really excited about the CivTech SA program. Joyce Dooley and Anna Martinez, who's just joined us on everything, are going to do fantastic work with that, and I think we're only at the beginning stages of the impact it's going to have in the community, especially around civic engagement. I think San Antonio overall is waking up to its potential, and our community is at the forefront of that, and we can actually help lead our city leaders and other folks that are interested in tapping into our massive potential as a technical and entrepreneur community. There's real opportunity there for them to learn from us and for us to learn from them and kind of lead San Antonio in the future.
Yeah, leveraging our resources. And it's neat that even other cities now are looking at this like, wow, they're leveraging co-working space and the tech that's already there, not having to outsource and get that through our community. So that's awesome. Now, enough about Geekdom. Let's talk about Read It For Me, this new company that I think a lot of our members are now familiar with from some of the services that they're giving to our members as one of the perks of our membership. What exactly is Read It For Me? You being the COO, what does that entail as far as what do we offer, or what do they offer?
Yeah, that's putting me on the spot since I've been in this role for like 7 weeks, so thank you. No, so we're basically the #1 book summary service for successful entrepreneurs and executives. What we essentially do is we take the most important books that are out there for business and personal development, and we summarize them into audio, text, or 12-minute animated videos, so you can digest actually the most important parts of what the book is all about. There's a really great formula that Steve, our founder and CEO, utilizes as he reads these books. He applies his personal experience and expertise to it, and it creates these really, really insightful summarizations of these books that if you read through, you'd fall asleep, right, in most cases, and you never really get the most out of. And he's developed a way of shortening this and really packing the most powerful punch in a short amount of time. So after you listen to it or read it or watch the video, you actually have learned something. And ideally what we want you to do and what we're going to be working on in 2018 is helping you actually utilize that information in your daily work or daily life. So that way you're not just consuming the information, you're genuinely learning something about the entrepreneurial learning process.
Wow, that's awesome. So even, I mean, I've used, audiobooks, just listening. I'm more of an auditorial kind of guy, but even visual, it kind of gives an aspect to each one of those people, right? So it has the text there, it has the audio, and it has a video. So you kind of get those options to look at. Am I correct?
That's correct. And everything, again, is, this isn't something done where we just chop everything up into little bits. We spend a lot of time developing this summarization to make sure that it's meaningful and impactful and delivers the right message of what the book intended. It's one great idea that it has, so that way folks can, utilize it in their daily business. We cover 7 major disciplines in the business and personal development books: sales, marketing, leadership, entrepreneurship, human capital, as well as creativity and innovation. So there's something literally for everyone that is looking to advance their career or themselves or just become a little bit better than they were the day before.
Awesome. That's very exciting. And so for those of our members that already know, this is a service that is given to you as far as becoming a Geekdom member. But for those that are not members watching, how can they get more info on Read It For Me, maybe the cost, or how they can get involved and use this service?
Yeah, if you're a Geekdom member, just contact your membership management team, John or Mike, and they can help you get set up with your account. If you already have an account and you're not sure what to do or how to get the most from it, feel free to stop by our office. We're on the 7th floor in the old White Cloud Drone, Go Smart Solar. We have that Legacy of Success office, so we're super pumped about that. But stop by our office and just ask us, say, hey, how do I get started? And we'll be happy to take a few minutes, show you how to start the summaries, take a look at what you're interested in doing, and get you started.
Awesome. Now, I got some kind of one-off questions just to learn more about you and your character that everyone seems to know. But what would you say is like your favorite hole-in-the-wall restaurant? Doesn't have to be downtown in this area, but just in general, when I say hole-in-the-wall restaurant, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Probably the favorite is going to be Oasis, right down the street here. Yeah. When Rackspace was started, and when I started there, it was early 2000s. We were at the Broadway Bank building, basically right across from the Rand. So Oasis was a breakfast taco staple for us in my early 20s. So the fact that it's kind of full circle and it's still there, I go and grab lunch there, breakfast taco occasionally, it's probably still my favorite hole in the wall.
Well, the coolest thing about Oasis is they deliver tacos to our building.
Yep.
Never heard of a place that delivers tacos, so they're killing it. Yeah. Another question for you. What was your favorite cartoon growing up? Whether you still watch cartoons, up to you, or as a child, favorite cartoon in general though?
I'm a big fan of just pop culture in general, so I still watch the occasional cartoon. Not ashamed to admit it. But growing up, probably it wasn't exactly the golden age of cartoons. It was a lot of the kind of herky-jerky, the characters staying in the same place. But it'd be like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and then maybe at the end, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was killer. Michelangelo eating the pizza with the skateboard.
Oh, yeah. Can't go wrong.
That was my spirit animal.
Last question I got for you. Just kind of wanting to get out of the office. Where would you go on vacation if you could go anywhere in the world? Where would you go, and why would you choose that place?
Man, I would probably say I would want to go to one of the Disney parks and do that. It's been a while since I've been to any one of those places, since I was like a teenager with my little brother and family. Definitely a beach. I haven't been to Hawaii yet. Been to a few other places, but Hawaii is definitely on the bucket list. So somewhere sunny and where I can have fun at my own pace.
That's awesome. Well, you and me both with that. Cool, man. Cool. Appreciate the time and being on the show with us, talking about all things Read It For Me. For those of you interested, remember, you can get involved with becoming a Geekdom member or just go to their website and read all the details. Dax, thank you so much for being here and taking the time out of your crazy day being COO. I see you running around everywhere, so we really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now, for those watching and you haven't done so already, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, every social media platform. We're just about on it. Stay tuned. February 19th, we have our cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, just overall knowledge meetup. So for those of you that are interested in that, 6 p.m., it's on our website, RSVP, and we'll see you there. Until then, I'll see you next Wednesday.